Indonesia, future global superpower?
Are they gonna use a big economy boost and be a global superpower?
Ooh, we actually went to Indonesia like a few months ago, and we went to modern Jakarta.
What?
If you want to check out our travel vlogs there, we went to Bali, Yogyakarta, and Jakarta along these travels.
I think the reason they're gonna be a global superpower is they're gonna just start feeding martabak to everyone. They're gonna start selling martabak global, like worldwide, and people love it so much they're just gonna buy billions, and then they'll make a ton of money.
And everyone will be super obese because that stuff is sweet as nuts.
Oh yeah.
We tried it on the travel vlog channel. Link in the description and the pinned comment below if you want to go check it out. Watch those videos.
Oh ho ho, we made like 15 or so. Like, a lot. You should check it out.
Well, let's get into this nice informational video about the growing economy of the old Indonesia.
Human history, the region between Australia and mainland Asia has been absent from the global stage. A land of over 17,000 islands.
Which makes sense because way back in the day, that would be very hard to unite that many islands and have a free-flowing, like economy and stuff.
Are you saying fast-flowing ships and airplanes didn't exist?
No.
It was largely disconnected from the rest of the world. And starting around 1600, it came under the rule of the Dutch East India Company before being handed over to the Dutch Empire. For nearly 450 years, the area was suppressed by colonial rule until 1949, when it was finally granted independence and the country Indonesia was born.
1949 is also pretty crazy.
Has transformed immensely.
Not that long
Over the past
ago.
70 years, the country's population
a lot of stuff happened
has
after World War II.
quadrupled, from 72.3 million people in 1952 to 278 million in 2022.
That's crazy.
It is now the fourth most populous country in the world, with as many people as the UK, Germany, France, and Italy combined. Meanwhile, Indonesia's economy has also skyrocketed. Over the past 30 years, its GDP by PPP has more than quintupled, from 617 billion US dollars in 1991 to 3.5 trillion in 2021, making it the seventh largest economy in the world. With so much momentum, it makes you
past Brazil.
the seventh largest
Yeah, that's
economy
surprising. It's not too far behind Russia either.
in the world. With so much momentum, it makes you think, what will Indonesia look like in 30 or 50 years? Will we see a new global superpower?
A sleeping giant.
By 2050, it's projected that Indonesia's population will have increased 20% to 330 million people.
Gosh, Java is not that big of an island, and most of the people lived on that island.
Like 100 mil.
As the United States in 2020.
And I would assume as Jakarta grows, a lot of people will continue moving into Jakarta as well. Except they have their new capital.
I wonder how that'll
out.
go. Because that's in Borneo.
Yeah.
Growth will keep Indonesia young. Over the next 30 years, while China, the US, and Europe's labor forces decline, Indonesia's will grow, providing a major economic advantage. In fact, by 2050, it's predicted that Indonesia's GDP will reach 10.4 trillion US dollars, 3 times what it is today, making it the fourth largest economy in the world. This growth would boost Indonesia, making it the fourth largest economy.
What the heck? We're not on top anymore?
No! USA dropping to number 3?
My life is over now that USA is not number 1.
We live there right now.
Yeah. Guys, we're in the Philippines.
We don't live in the US.
Economy in the world. This growth would boost Indonesia's GDP per capita to $32,000, 2.6 times what it is today. However, this growth is not guaranteed. After years of neglect, Indonesia's infrastructure, which is key to attracting investment and promoting economic development, has become largely deficient.
Uh-oh.
To improve its infrastructure, Indonesia is pursuing many large-scale megaprojects. In the capital city of Jakarta, a new $2.3 billion light rail transit system is under construction. As of August 2021, it was 87% finished and is now targeted to be operational by July 2022.
We did not go on it.
Jakarta and the nearby
We rode a train, though.
Yeah, we did.
Check out that video on the Travelog channel. Link in the description.
Luxury train.
City of Bandung, an $8 billion high-speed rail line is being built.
We were too
Completed
early.
now.
By 2023.
We were too
Just
early for that
northwest
one.
of Jakarta, on the island of Sumatra, the $33 billion Trans-Sumatra toll road is under construction, which will stretch 2,800 kilometers across the island.
Wow.
As of May 2021, 663 kilometers were operational. The whole expressway is planned to be finished by 2024. Lastly, down in Bali, a $1 billion toll road between Denpasar and Gilimanuk is set to begin construction in late 2021. In the near future, Indonesia plans to pursue many other mega projects, including 21 gigawatts of renewable power plants by 2030
That's good.
and a
Nice.
bridge between Batam and Bintan Islands near Singapore. Farther into the future, a $15 billion bridge between Sumatra and Java, new
Wow.
multi-billion dollar airports near Medan and Jakarta, and a railway across Sumatra may be built. In addition to its infrastructure megaprojects, Indonesia has several key advantages that will help lift it to superpower status. First of all, it is abundant in natural resources such as copper, gold, oil, and natural gas, which will fuel its economy. Second, its location right along the Malacca Strait, one of the busiest maritime passages in the world,
It's a lot of
gives it
boats.
strategic access to global trade. Lastly, being an island nation surrounded by democratic
The long
allies,
boy.
Indonesia has essentially zero threat of foreign attack. Because of this, Indonesia has historically had a relatively small military, focused on defense. Nevertheless, it is still the strongest force in Southeast Asia and the 16th strongest in the world. Instead
wow.
of becoming a global military superpower, Indonesia's strength will lie in its soft power. As the fourth largest economy in the world, Indonesia will be able to use its immense economic influence to impact foreign affairs globally. And with the most powerful military and economy in the region, Indonesia will have immense influence on its neighboring countries. Still though, Indonesia's rise to global influence will not come without its challenges.
What are the threats?
Currently, Indonesia has many internal problems that hinder its development. Its education system is lacking, it suffers from corruption and economic inequality, and is divided by religious intolerance and separatism. However, the most threatening and long-term issue of all is external: climate change. Indonesia
Natural.
is a heavily forested
Jakarta's
nation.
sinking.
Dense
Yeah.
rainforest covers 52% of the country, hosting thousands of species, stabilizing the region's climate, and providing a vital carbon sink. However, over the past 20 years, Indonesia has lost 28 million hectares of forest cover. 17%
Yeah, it was interesting to see that highway they made on Medan, or on Sumatra. It just like with carved out, just like huge section of the trees.
It's not nice.
total, or an area the size of Italy. This
Eesh.
deforestation has been almost entirely commodity-driven, most notably for mining.
It's interesting. The economy that they recently passed, Brazil, has also a lot of issues with this, of just plowing through the forests and the natural resources. Huh. It's not good because
No.
the developing economies want to be able to grow like the developed countries got to back in the day. But back in the day, there wasn't the whole, like, climate change thing.
The climate change things was caused by the countries that are now developed.
But it's now we know about it, so it's kind of a hard
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. So, I mean, now, and these countries that are developing now, like India and Indonesia, are so much bigger
Yeah, the
than
populations are insane.
European countries and America were back then when they were
Mhm.
developing. So it's like a whole nother beast.
timber, and palm oil. Fortunately, the Indonesian government is working to reduce deforestation, and in
That's good.
2020, it fell 75% from previous levels.
Oh, wow.
However, experts fear a rebound is on the way, and that over the coming decades, vast amounts of the nation's forests will be destroyed, contributing to global warming, harming wildlife, and destabilizing Indonesia's climate and agriculture industry. While Indonesia fights deforestation, the repercussions of climate change will begin materializing. Over the coming decades, the length of Indonesia's rainy season is expected to dwindle, lowering crop yields and food security. Meanwhile, sea levels will rise. Currently, hundreds of small islands and thousands of kilometers of coastline are at risk of disappearing due to flooding and rising sea levels. And unfortunately, Indonesia's most important city is not spared. Jakarta, the economic and administrative capital of Indonesia, is the fastest sinking city in the world. Due to the extraction of
even more than
groundwater and the
Venice.
subsequent degradation of subsurface aquifers, Jakarta is physically sinking, up to 20 centimeters a year in certain areas.
Oh, that's a
This
lot.
sinking, combined
Yeah,
with
what the
rising sea
heck?
levels and the city's already low elevation, is putting Jakarta at extreme risk for catastrophic flooding. If nothing is done, 25% of the city could be submerged by 2050, displacing millions of
2050?
people and disabling much of the metropolis's economy. In addition to its physical descent, Jakarta is also incredibly congested and one of the most polluted urban areas in the world. Because of this, the Indonesian government has begun questioning the city's suitability as national capital.
New capital. It's 20 centimeters a year?
That's a lot.
That's insane. If there's like a really like disastrous like tsunami or typhoon or something like that, the city could be like permanently destroyed.
It's like right on the coast. If it gets lower, it's just right on the. Jeez.
That's not good.
On August 26, 2019, President Joko Widodo officially announced that Indonesia's national capital would be relocated away from Jakarta to a brand new $34 billion city in East Kalimantan on the
A
island
new
of
area to deforest?
Oh,
The new city, which will cover 562 square kilometers,
That's
calls
very
for
large.
green design, futuristic technology, and modern buildings and infrastructure. It is set to begin construction in 2024 and be finished in the coming decades.
This year.
According to the Indonesian government,
Coming
the
decades.
city will relieve pressure from Jakarta and help spread economic activity outside of Java Island, where 60% of the country's GDP is currently generated. However, others see the project in a different light. They fear it will serve as an escape for the affluent and that it will lead to the neglect of Jakarta
interesting.
and its population. In response to these fears, the
True.
Indonesian government has emphasized its commitment to Jakarta and has pledged $40 billion over the coming decade to help save it.
It's interesting that it's costing more to save Jakarta than to their budget for the new city. 32 billion seems low for building an entire city.
Like an eco city too.
Their railway, the LRT said it was like 2 or 3 billion or whatever. It's only 10 times that to build an entire city with.
I wonder if that's gonna work out or
It's probably more expensive than that.
and it's gonna take decades to build. That is an interesting thing though. Like if all of the companies are like, oh, we're going to the new capital, Jakarta would just suddenly become into like a slum city that's just slowly sinking into the ocean because all the businesses would be like, "Ooh," and then just all go there.
Where would people go for jobs then?
Yeah, it would just be people that wouldn't have anywhere to go. The people that couldn't afford to leave would be stuck.
Very interesting.
Well, I guess they're keeping the money though, so that's good.
Despite
An
the problem-
inevitable rise of sea level?
Maybe.
That's the thing that sucks for places like Indonesia is even if they turn and they're like, we're eco now, they aren't going to be able to prevent China, the US, India, all these other countries that are polluting like crazy. They're not going to be able to be like, guys, you do it too now. And they're like, nah, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, especially the countries. I mean, like the U.S., there are like Florida. Some areas are at risk of the sea level rise, but a large amount of the economy isn't at risk of it.
No.
So some of them don't care at all then.
No, and there's politicians and large and parties of millions and millions of people that just don't care. And I'm assuming that's the same for places like India and people in China where a lot of the cities aren't right on the coast. So, I don't know.
It's interesting.
problems facing Indonesia,
Some people don't even
the
believe
Southeast
it.
Asian
Yeah,
giant
that's true.
is advancing rapidly and is on a trajectory for global economic power and influence. Its rise, along with many other developing nations, will certainly serve as a focal point for the coming century. If you enjoyed this video, it would be amazing if you like and
Well, that's the video. I mean, you've heard pretty much our thoughts throughout the video, so interesting stuff.
It's nice to actually hear about the future projects of the country, because in the developing countries, it's cool when we can, like, we were just in Jakarta and we saw some of those that he mentioned being completed, and we might go back in the future and see some of new ones completed. In the US, where we live, nothing really changes.
Oh, they have road work every year.
Yeah, then you get a nice clean road for about 6 months.
And then the winter destroys it. You can't do much when you live in the tundra.
From Minnesota.
It's cold there. I'm sure most of you have never heard of it in your life.
Minnesota.
Always ready to go back. We're definitely going to go back to Indonesia sometime this year. Probably going to check out Jakarta and some other cities around. So be ready for that. Check out our videos already there down in the descriptor below. See you in the next one.
Goodbye.